Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo. We got a packed Friday on a wild weather day. Johnny Tower is going to join us, St. Thomas head coach, as the Tommies get ready for the Bison and a showdown in Fargo tomorrow. Plus some breaking Bison football news on the final day of the portal being open. Hot Mic starts now.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to the Better Drive Safe edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra. KSFL TV. Good morning, everybody. To our friends in Sioux Falls. You're probably wondering what's the big deal. Looking at Grand Forks, it's a lot different than it's looking in Fargo right now. Welcome to the show, everybody, on a Friday morning, the 16th of January, 2026. It is not great. If you're out in open country, it's brutal out there, so be safe. You got to go anywhere. We got a host of cancellations that have already come in to let you know about. And we know Moorhead went to e-learning today. DGF did. West Fargo was under a delay. Fargo, everybody going to school on time. I mean, it's out in open country is where you've got to really worry about it. So for those that have e-learning, Barnesville did that as well. Breck, Fargo does not. Brody, is that what you said? Okay. It's off already. That's why. So Hawley bang today. Let's see. All those that anticipated, then you do not. That means you have no sporting events going on tonight as well. Park Christian doesn't. Pelican doesn't. Rothsay off. Let's see what else. You'll hit it all. So there you have it. So it's not great out there. So just be safe, and we'll any other updates we will keep you up to date on that as it goes along. We got a lot to get to today. Today is the day for college football coaches that are anxiously waiting to get to 11:59 tonight. Today's the last day that the portal window is open. Now, granted, you don't necessarily have to even have your paperwork in. As long as you have it in today, it might take a day or two to actually show up, so maybe until Sunday. But that's what coaches are sweating out now. And I understand there are some schools that began school this week, NDSU being one of them, UND another. Some others don't start for a little bit later. It's some restless nights going on, depending where you're at. So that's fully something we're keeping our ears to the ground on that. We're on the doorstep, of course, of a major football weekend as well. Knowing full well we've got 4 NFL games starting tomorrow. Winners of that move on to the conference championship games, with the college football championship game slated for Saturday night as well. So all that to look forward to here, and we'll predict all of those coming up over the next hour and 45 minutes or so, as we'll do that with my dad to wrap up the show. But we got a heck of a way to start our show, because we got a big-time basketball game coming up in town tomorrow. Get your butts there. We had a great crowd on Wednesday night for the Bison and the Jackrabbits. Now we got the top 2 teams in the Summit League set to face off against one another coming up on Saturday afternoon. St. Thomas will come calling to take on North Dakota State. It's great to have Tommy's men's basketball coach Johnny Tower join us to start our show after St. Thomas won last night in Grand Forks. Coach, it's great to see you. How you been?
Hey, Dom, what's up? Doing great. Nice to see you this lovely morning.
So,
we're in Grand Forks, and Happy to be here.
I was going to ask if you guys drove down or not. So are you heading down later today?
Yeah, we'll come down later today. Let the guys sleep in a little bit and get rested. But no, it's been a fun trip so far to North Dakota.
All right. Well, I bet last night. Let's reflect on a game last night where you got up pretty sizable lead early. UND pounces back. Describe that game. You get over 90 points again, which is no surprise that what you guys do. But tell me about your win last night.
Yeah, North Dakota, I think they're really good, very talented, unique group of guards, I think, who can score in multiple ways. I think Paul's just doing a really good job. They're defensively, they're really aggressive, particularly in certain parts of the floor, and we didn't respond great to that. We were up 17-5, and then they made a run, and we had 13 turnovers in the first half. I think we average about 9 a game. So I wasn't overly pleased at halftime with that. But I thought we had 2 turnovers the second half. And there's like a lot of things in the game. We shot 16 of 24 on threes, which historically we've been a really good shooting 3-point team. This year we've been probably a little bit below our standards. We missed 15 free throws, but took good care of the ball. And I thought it was a great competitive game. They had a really nice crowd. They're going to win a lot of games this year. They kept battling. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with how our group's developed. If you look over the last 6 weeks, we're starting 1 freshman, 3 sophomores, and a junior, and still relatively early in our Division I journey. And so what these guys have done, particularly the last 6 weeks, I'm really proud of them because they've embraced coaching. They've gotten a lot better on offense. We were not very good the first 7 or 8 games of the year, so it's been a lot of fun.
All right, you say that all to me. You missed the amount of free throws you did. You had the amount of turnovers. You still scored 91 points. I mean, that's still really impressive. I mean, I'm sure as the coaching, you're thinking, well, if we do all that, we might have had 115, right?
No, hey, you're absolutely right. We're not going to go 16 of 24 on threes again. I hope I'm wrong. So that stuff, small sample sizes, balances itself out. So I'm certainly not complaining. But I do think we learned a lot. Every game's an opportunity, particularly for a young team, to go through something new. And I think our guys have just really taken to heart both coaching and film sessions, but also I thought they throughout probably the last 15 games or so really played with a lot of poise and as much as poise, trust in one another. That so often in basketball when things go awry, it's because you're not trusting one another and somebody's trying to do too much on offense or even too much on defense. And I just think our young guys continue to get better and better, and very fortunate the 4 guys who have played in our program, minutes in this program before this year have done such a wonderful job leading. Carter Bjerke, Ryan Dufall, Ben Oosterban, and Nolan Minnesali.
I have to ask, we visited briefly in Sioux Falls at Summit League Media Day. That here's the year you've been waiting for. Now, first year of postseason eligibility, the new arena opening up. Describe now, here you are in the middle part of it. We're getting in the halfway part of Summit League play. Just the anticipation around campus, around your team, of the excitement level of what potentially could happen in March.
Yeah, I mean, there may be. We don't talk about that at all, honestly. I think our guys are aware of it, but it's just not. It's not how they operate, and I'm grateful for that because they do approach it really maturely, and I think understand that the only thing in front of them is the game today. So whether that's playing Grand Forks last night and not looking ahead to Fargo, you look at the games we've had early in the conference season. I just think they really, part of it is they love basketball, so I don't think they want to waste any chances. and the other part is they are learning how hard it is to win in college basketball, and that is something that the longer you've been around, I don't care where you are, what league, what division, winning conference games, particularly on the road, is incredibly difficult. And I think they're seeing that, and they're getting better and better. Just the level of competitiveness you need. You don't need to be perfect every night, and it sure helps when you throw in 16 threes, but you do have to be able to adapt to other teams. And I thought last night, while I was furious with 13 turnovers at halftime, I thought their attention at halftime and awareness that that's not how we want to play. And all credit to North Dakota. They're going to do that to a lot of teams, but to only have 2 turnovers against that same pressure, I thought was really instrumental.
We're looking at some video from earlier this year of this new arena. Like the last time I know you were on, and we were talking about it. I think you were give us a little tour. Now it's done. What is this like? I've seen it on TV. It looks fantastic. Now you're in it. Just describe how this has changed everything for not only the basketball team, but frankly, the university.
Yeah, it is. It is really unbelievable. When I walk into work, and I've been fortunate to work at St. Thomas for 26 years, but I do pinch myself a little bit every morning. The generosity of Lee and Penny Anderson and so many others, and what that building represents. And it's not just basketball; it's both hockey teams, it's both soccer teams, it's softball. So 7 of our 21 sports are housed there. And the job that Phil Eston and his team have done over the last 4.5 years has been, to me, just remarkable, because you look at the eligibility now for the tournament if teams qualify at St. Thomas, the new arena, and so many other things. And I think, it's not necessarily a race, but I do think certain things have happened maybe more quickly than people on the outside when they first heard about this little Division III school going Division I. I think things have happened a little bit more quickly, and so we're fortunate to have unbelievable leadership, and there is a lot of excitement around the program. And when you talk about recruiting, certainly the first couple of years, and we're not blind to this, if you're talking to a recruit and you can't go to the NCAA tournament, and you don't maybe have, even though I loved Old Schoenecker Arena, and it was, to me, one of the best places you could possibly play a basketball game. But when you had a bunch of things like that, it was understandable that some recruits looked at us like, are you guys really going to Division I? You can't go to the tournament. Well, now that doesn't mean there's still not challenges. There's lots of challenges. But when you think about things that no longer are challenges and in fact have become strengths, I would put our arena up there against anything in all of college basketball as far as what it provides. Not how big it is. It's 5,300 seats, but we've got our own practice gym. Our women have their own practice gym. Our hockey team has an extra sheet of ice. And so we're just so blessed to, I think, have now the amenities and the resources that really provide our players the best possible experience.
When it's one thing to see like a rendering of it. So like when you walked in, when it was done, was there anything that like took you by surprise? Like, wow, that to see it in real life I didn't expect that.
Well, I mean, I think the enormity of it, certainly when you walk in the arena, there is, I mean, it's just so different than anything we've ever had. But I think the other part, and I'm old enough, not many things probably at this point catch me, certainly not tangible things. But just seeing our practice facility and the locker room and the lounge and the film room and the offices for the staff and how it's all designed, it's an unbelievable place to just hang out. And you just see those interactions with our players where they may be watching college football games together in the lounge. They can walk up one flight of stairs and they're up in the coach's office, or they may not like it that we can walk down one flight of stairs and we're in the practice gym. But to me, just the sense of community among those 7 teams and what it's done, I think, for our players and staff in so many ways, that's probably the thing on a day-to-day basis. The arena is unbelievable, but it's all the other stuff that I think really enhances everything we try to do.
Location. I always hear about real estate. That's also for, I think, really fitting for you and the portal, just where you're at. For guys that, and we talk about it all the time, you know this full well, you're there, how high level the high school basketball is in the Twin Cities. For guys that may want to test the Power 4 waters, Johnny, that then decide maybe they didn't work out, now that they come back home and play, that you're a Division I school, that's how big of an advantage is it? I'll just ask.
Well, we have unbelievable high school players and coaches and programs in Minnesota. I mean, the quality of high school basketball, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the teams I played on back in the 1990s, but I look at it and I'm kind of blown away. And I think certainly that the transfer portal is something that everybody has to embrace because it's the reality. And I also think we're still really committed to taking kids who want to be at St. Thomas. So we recruit high school kids quite a bit. Now, the landscape's changed where last year we lose Kendall Blue and Miles Barnstable, who would both be seniors on this year's team. Andrew Rohde would be a senior.
Yeah.
He's starting at Wisconsin. And so when those guys leave, where it really changes things, Dom, I think, is we're going to go replace those kids then last spring, and probably not with a high school player because the majority of high school players have committed. So all of a sudden, instead of having those 2 scholarships for next year's high school class, the 2026 class this year, we use that on a kid like Austin Hero or Isaiah Johnson, Nick Janowski, Tommy Humphreys, and all of a sudden there go those scholarships. And so our high school classes that we've brought in 3 of the last 4 years now have been smaller than I expect, and that's not necessarily planned or by design, but it is the nature of the beast. And so I think we're very open to taking transfers, but it's got to be the right kids. We get a lot of calls from people who, you can kind of tell when a kid doesn't really want to be at a school. And so, we're aware that kids are going to come and go, but I do think St. Thomas, what I'll tell recruits every single time, and you talked about location, I would add the academics, the alumni network, the success we've already had, the new arena, the trajectory we're on. And if this isn't a place you really want to be, then you shouldn't waste your time here. And if you don't think a degree from St. Thomas is what you want, you also shouldn't come here. It doesn't mean everybody's going to end up getting their degree. They may move on somewhere else. But there's just so many great things at St. Thomas. And I do think we can be a little more selective in the recruiting than we could a few years ago. Frankly, a few years ago, it was like cold calling kids trying to explain. I still remember Benny Now, who I'll always be grateful. He was the first kid to commit to St. Thomas. And I remember the questions he and his parents had. He went to Brookfield Central, and they were very fair questions because it was sort of like, are you sure you're actually doing this? And we still had another year of Division III basketball in front of us. And so it is, I think that's the nice part is people are learning more about our program, more about our style of play, what we've accomplished so far. And I think there's a vision of where we're able to potentially go.
Chip Scoggins did an awesome story in the Star Tribune. I got to ask you about. We just saw Nick Janowski, what he did last night. That his dad and you played together, and how this all came about. You're talking about using the portal. Can you give us briefly the backstory and how this all came about to get him to come to St. Thomas?
Well, Nick, we're very fortunate to have him. As a young 22-year-old grad student in Madison, getting my PhD in social psych, and didn't know anybody really in town, was living in a little efficiency apartment, much smaller than this hotel room I'm in right now. You're kind of questioning, like, is this really it for me? I think I was making $8,000 and working what felt like 80 or 90 hours a week. And at some point, I just said, all right, I've got to be able to go work out and maintain my sanity. And if I can't work out for 2 hours a day, something's wrong. And so I started going to the rec center on campus that community members could also go to. And about 6 months in, I met this guy, everybody called him Mookie. And I was like, who's this guy Mookie? But it became quickly apparent he was a big, tough, strong left-handed guard. And he made me look good. I couldn't do much than shoot open jump shots. And he was really good at getting me open shots. So Mookie and I played pickup basketball together literally probably 80% of the days, the weekdays from Monday to Friday for 4 years. And then you go your separate ways. He was in business. I moved back to the Twin Cities, and we would see each other periodically at an AAU tournament. We didn't recruit Nick because he was going to Nebraska. Yeah. But when he went in the portal last year, and you never know how those things are going to go, but he went in the portal for Nebraska. And so it was unbelievable to reconnect with Mookie. And, then Nick, he's such a unique kid. Obviously he had an unbelievable game last night, but he's about as passionate about basketball as any young man I've ever coached. I won't say the most because there have been some others, but I'll tell you what, he would talk basketball 24/7 to the point I'll tell him sometimes, go to bed. Like, we'll be texting. I'm like, just go to sleep. Stop thinking about this. And so, to see him playing the way he is, we're fortunate to have him. And it's one of those full circle stories that, again, makes me feel a little bit old because I'm like, man, Mookie and I were 23 years old. We were in pretty good shape. We had a lot of fun. And now to be coaching his son is pretty amazing.
That's an awesome story. Last thing before we go, I got to ask about the matchup tomorrow. What have you seen cross tape or on North Dakota State? You know what kind of team Dave typically has. What about this year's version of the Bison stands out that presents a tough matchup tomorrow afternoon?
No, I think they're unbelievable. I mean, Dave does such a good job year after year. His teams always compete. They're tough. You can tell the culture that he has. Offensively, again, I think they're a juggernaut. Much like last year, we haven't been in the league that long, but the Bison historically, I think the reputation was they were tough and defensive minded, and they were going to pound the ball inside. And all of a sudden, last year, we went from the team who shot 50% of their shots from three to North Dakota State was the ones doing that, and they run their offense. It's I think a bunch of versatile players. I'm pausing because I don't think there's any way you're going to stop them. When I look at and the way a kid like Anderson is developing right in front of everybody's eyes, but Andy Stefanowicz is a local kid. We played a bunch of local kids at North Dakota, and so it's fun to see so many of them in the Summit League. Damari's back and playing, I think, at an exceptionally high level. Strickland, we played the last 2 years at Western Michigan, and he's, I think, one of the most explosive players in the conference. And then, Carson might be the most efficient player in the conference. And that doesn't get into Feddersen, so I can go right down their roster. I think they're incredibly talented, well coached. They've got tradition, so it's going to be a fun game. It's a real joy to be a part of these games, to get a chance to be in them. But in the moment, it's sure not fun trying to because you're not going to stop them. Yeah. It's how do you try to make their lives difficult? And our guys will be excited for the challenge. I know it'll be a great atmosphere in Fargo. They were resting, relaxing yesterday. Dave probably had his feet up on the couch.
I'm sure.
Not doing much. And so our guys got to get rested today. It's a quick turnaround, and certainly looking forward to it.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Safe travels. We'll see you tomorrow at the game, all right?
All right, Dom. Thank you. Roll Toms.
Good to see you. There he goes. Johnny Tower, UST head coach, joining us here to start our show on this Friday. St. Thomas, North Dakota State tomorrow, 1 o'clock on Extra. More on that coming up later on in the show. Heck of a way to start here on a busy Friday. The rest of our guests on this Friday brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Coming up here in just a few minutes, you'll hear from former Shanley and St. Thomas quarterback Michael Rostberg, who announced early this week he's transferring back home. He's going to play football at MSUM. We'll chat with him coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, we'll welcome back to our program Concordia women's basketball coach Kim Wagers. The Cobbers are red hot right now, 6-1 in the MIAC. We showed you they won a buzzer beater the other night at home over Gustavus. We'll chat with Kim coming up at 10. And it is Friday. We'll deliver some NFL picks with Dad to wrap up the week. Get his thoughts on the Steelers opening as well. That's coming up to wrap up the show at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here on our busy Friday. We'll take our first break. We come back. We got some breaking Bison football news to share. That's coming up on the other side here on a wild and windy Friday. We're back on Hot Mic right after this. We are off and rolling here on a busy Friday morning. We got hoops tonight. This will happen no matter the weather. Tonight here on Extra, big boys game. Horace and Davies, top two teams in the EDC at 7 o'clock. On WDAY2, we've got the girls matchup, which is dynamite as well. The Davies girls are at Horace. Each game coverage at 7 o'clock. Boys on Extra. The girls on WDAY2. Part of a, well, now I can say, I was like depleted Friday. Not as many games going on because of the weather. So that's coming up tonight here on our family of networks. I mentioned earlier, I teased it, that we got some breaking Bison football news. Here is the last day of the portal to be open. North Dakota State did not get out unscathed. Sources confirmed to WDAY this morning that Bison starting linebacker and captain Nathaniel Staling is entering the transfer portal. Staling, who finished second on the team in tackles, had a fantastic year in his first year as the starter at middle linebacker. Had 3 interceptions, 2 of them returned for touchdowns, including in the second-round loss to Illinois State. Finished the year with 75 tackles, 6 of them were TFLs, had a sack and a half, 3 picks, 4 passes defended, at a fumble recovery. That also came against Illinois State in the regular season matchup in Normal. So, I mean, you cannot discount. This is another starter. It's the 8th starter now for the Bison football team off of last year's squad that is in the portal. Joins the likes of Jalen Duffy, Jaquise Alexander, Trent Fraley, Bo Johnson, Caleb Bowers, Eli Ozick, and now Staling is the next one to go in. You can kill the music, Brody, when you have a second. It's just nothing can be, I would say, quote-unquote, surprising about this. Staling's a grad transfer. He graduated in December. We have been discussing, Sam and I were just talking about Staling yesterday, that he changed his Twitter profile to a Bison photo of him in mid-December. He did not come out and outright say he was part of that campaign that he was coming back. I can tell you, sources that have told me, that he was getting monster offers in the high six figures that he was being floated about with. That, again, we're talking about this with the other guys that have departed over the last 10 days. What are you going to do? Now, captain, tough part about that. First year as a starter. Staling was part of the class of 2022 that came in. He redshirted that season, played primarily in special teams in 23, got hurt in 2024. He only played 5 games before he hurt his shoulder, and then came back with a vengeance. I remember visiting with him at the very start of spring practice, March of 2025, how eager he was that it was his time. He was going to be the guy. He played fantastic. You cannot say anything about his season other than he was great. He was an honorable mention Valley pick, which was a joke, considering I thought all 3 of the Bison linebackers should have been all league in terms of first or second team. Kopp, Woolen, and Staling. And frankly, you tip your hat, say, okay, what are you going to do? It's a tough deal. On the final day, tough deal to enter the portal at this particular time. So now the Bison are going to have to regroup here. And I'm not sure if they already had made their plans. I'm sure that they probably were already discussing it. Grant Olson called Staling out. He said it on our show. He was the best third-string linebacker in the country when he was backing up Nick Kubitz and Luke Wirtz in 2023 and 2024. And so now the Bison have to turn, frankly, to a younger group at linebacker already with Logan Kopp moving on. That Donovan Woolen being back, you cannot underestimate how big a deal that is now. But now you have an opening at the middle linebacker spot, excuse me, and the outside linebacker spot. Middle linebacker, is that Alex Elliott now? The Gopher transfer missed all of this past season to take over. Peter Haugo got reps at that particular position. Is he ready to? Somebody's going to have to step up. Just thinking of the name, Ray James plays an outside backer spot. He's been injured each of the last 2 years. Gavin Sell's a name we heard quite a bit about. He's just a redshirt freshman coming back for this upcoming year. I mean, I'm just looking real briefly here. I know we got to get to break. At the linebacker position, Oliver Luck got a little bit of run at that middle linebacker spot. We mentioned Sell. There's a lot of – that was a spot in the last recruiting class. I believe they took 5 linebackers, right? Chase Brixius out of the Twin Cities. Damian Devine out of the Twin Cities. Sam Anderson. Jacob Robonik out of Maple Grove. I don't know if any of those guys. Austin Altapeter out of Moorhead has battled injury. His status up in the air. That's cut now. It's a spot I don't know if you're worried about. Do you have to go add a guy? You can add players still. It's just going in. That the deadline is today. So we'll process this. Much more coming as this show goes on. You can check out Inforum.com as well for an update on this. But Nathaniel Staling, Bison captain, is in the NCAA transfer portal on the final day of it being open. Let's break. We come back. We'll keep the football chatter going. Guy that was in the portal and found a new home. Former Shanley state champion quarterback Michael Rostberg will join us on transferring back home to play for Steve Lockway and the Dragons. That's coming up when we come back. Welcome back, everybody, on a snowy, windy Friday morning. Look at downtown Fargo here. Just be careful if you got to go anywhere today. We mentioned some football chatter there before we took a break. Much more on the buys and stuff coming up later on in the show. As we mentioned, today the final day if you want to enter the NCAA transfer portal for football. It doesn't mean you have to make a decision today, but if you want to get enrolled and get ready for practice for the spring, you best do so pretty quickly. Our next guest did that. It's been a hectic week for him, but he's heading back closer to home. Guy we've had on our show a couple of times, and now be playing his college football right across the river at MSU Moorhead. Michael Rostberg joins us, former Shanley state champion quarterback after spending the last couple of years at the University of St. Thomas. Got a St. Thomas theme here in our first hour of the show. Is back with us today. It's great to see you, bud. Congrats. So fill people in here the last little bit. What's been going on in the decision to leave St. Thomas and enter the portal?
Yeah, for sure. So basically this past year, I've been dealing with a shoulder injury kind of stemming from high school. I separated my AC joint and kind of just got to the point where I couldn't no longer handle it. And I really wanted to be healthy for this upcoming season in this spring. So I got shoulder surgery in October to repair my AC joint, and everything went smoothly there. So right now I'm on the road to recovery. And then, decided to enter the portal, wanted a fresh start. And luckily MSUM brought me in. I can't be more excited to be back home. So
has this been lingering basically for the last 3 years with your shoulder?
Yeah, so it's been my junior year of high school. I separated it, and then I came back. I was out 3 games. I came back in, and then actually in the last game, playing Cheyenne, going to the semifinal game, I tore my labrum in my left shoulder. So I had to get that repaired, and then kind of just a long, grueling rehab process. And I rehabbed it a lot. I kind of just most managed as I could, and just been one of those things I've been dealing with for a really long time. And then kind of the demands of college football of throwing all the time kind of got to me, and I really just wanted to be back throwing with no pain. So ended up going through the surgery, and I can't wait to be able to throw again.
How much was it affecting your ability to throw?
It was not affecting me a ton. I think especially when you kind of get into the game and get into the practice feel, you kind of just get to that flow state and you're not really thinking about a lot. So in that sense, it didn't really do it. But every time I wanted to really fine tune my throwing mechanics and work in the weight room with just bench press, stuff like that, that's kind of where it really lingered and always kind of bothered me. So, and more like the, not really when the pads were on was all the times it was affecting me.
You did get a taste to play Division I football at St. Thomas in 2024. Describe that. I know it obviously it didn't go the way you wanted. What did you take out of your opportunity to play quarterback there?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's just gave me a lot of experience, and just to really see college football for the first time, especially at the Division I level. And so now being able to experience that high level football, playing against really competition, be able to use that as I enter the portal, and also just kind of seeing the scenes of college football of having to meet a new offensive coordinator every year I was there, kind of, and learning a new offense. So that's something that I can take with me as well as I move forward at MSUM to learn this new offense and just build relationships with coaches and players.
All right, I'm always interested in this. So you enter your name in there, or you let your known you're going to transfer. Does your phone start going nuts that day? Take us through that.
Yeah. So like kind of with regulations and everything, me and a lot of other guys that are at St. Thomas, when you kind of announce it, most of the coaches just would follow you and like that stuff, and they kind of let you know they're interested because they can't really technically reach out to you. And then kind of they once you officially enter the portal on that date, you announce it, they see your name, then they kind of hit you up. So that first day on January 2nd, just answering a lot of calls and just Twitter messages and stuff.
What was that like, especially from, coaches you didn't know? How do you handle that, where these are a left field with teams that you didn't talk to in the high school recruiting process, I imagine?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I'm just super grateful to get those opportunities, like just kind of wherever they came from, and just be able to be on the phone with those coaches and hear their quarterback scenario, what they think of me, what they think of my film. It was just honestly really cool to hear from a lot of those coaches, and really grateful to even just receive those calls.
All right, so is it Lockway that calls you, or who was the established contact from MSUM?
So actually it was Coach Needham,
Yep.
the recruiting coordinator. I was pretty close with him in high school. We had a lot of phone calls throughout all of that process. And we have some Shanley ties because he's a Shanley grad as well. So it was first Coach Needham, and then Coach Chet gave me a call, and we were kind of just talking about everything for a good hour, 2 hours, and it was a really good phone call. And then I went into Moorhead for a visit and talked to Coach Lockway, and just really enjoyed my experience, decided to commit. So
now, obviously, they recruited you out of high school as well, so there was some familiarity there. But knowing how much, they like to throw the football, they just had a quarterback who potentially can get drafted or is going to get some NFL look in Jack Strand. As a quarterback, I have to imagine that's awfully appealing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, credit to the world for Jack Strand. I mean, what he did at MSUM is just unbelievable. All the records he set and all that. But then also just kind of being around the building and hearing about Jack Strand and who he was off the field is really inspiring as well. Just how he carried himself and how great of a teammate he was. It's just really cool to hear and something I can learn from. And just so that aspect's really cool. But then, yeah, I guess obviously I'm just super excited to be in a throwing heavy offense with a lot of different option routes and quick hitters, just a lot of things that it's appealing for a quarterback.
So did you commit on the spot? Did you go home and think about it? How did that conversation go?
Yeah, so I had my visit on a Wednesday, and I was already gonna really want to go there, but I wanted to kind of hear him out, and just Lockway was really upfront with me, and all the other coaches were as well. And then I kind of knew I wanted to do it, but I was just kind of going to feel it out and wait till see what other opportunities come. And then I went up actually ice fishing with my dad in Devil's Lake, and we were fishing, and we kind of made my decision. And then we were watching the Panthers versus Rams game that day in the cabin, and Coach Check was just kind of texting me back and forth, and he's like, "You think Matthew Stafford can do it on this last drive?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." And then Matthew Stafford just marches down the field and just dipping and dunking and making all these throws and stuff. And then Check was like, all of those things that Matthew Stafford just threw are stuff we have in our offense, and he kind of named them all off. And
That's
so
cool.
that was like, I know it. I was like, yeah, like I'm ready just right now. I called him up, and it was right after the Rams game. I just said, hey, I'm ready to do this. So
That's awesome. To describe a new opportunity here, like a blank slate. Obviously, you're going in. There's a bunch of other guys who are going to fight for this job as well. What's the mentality now of starting over and trying to fight for a job?
Yeah, for sure. I think coaches have made it very clear that it's an even playing field with Jack Strand graduating. There's everyone starting at the same level. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in that room, and I'm just excited to join that competition and be with those guys and compete for the starting job.
So describe now. We were texting earlier this week. You had to get compliance done. Tell me, like the stuff we don't know. Like obviously the football is one thing, but you got to get yourself registered for school. All that. Can you go through what the last few days have been like?
Yeah, for sure. So at MSUM, Friday or today is the last day to register for classes, or you can't get into classes. And so when I decided to commit, I had my advisor meeting, and then we're going through trying to get all my credits transferred over and seeing what fits in what box. And then that's like, what classes do I take? What classes shouldn't I take? All these are full. Reach out to the professor, try to get into this one, try to get in that one.
Yeah.
So this past week, it's been pretty hectic, but luckily we got everything done, and I should be good to go.
Let me throw this at you here, because this is my harebrained idea. It's not my own, but I know it's been thrown out there. If the portal was at the end of the school year, and then you guys are doing like the NFL does with OTAs and training camp in June, how much would that ease this up? Knowing, all right, I'm going to leave at the end of the school year, and then make a decision in April or May, and then I'm able to transfer, and then you're not doing all this that you had to do over the last 72 hours.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I don't really get too involved in thinking of transfer portal dates and all that
Yeah.
stuff, but I have heard kind of or talks about having it move to more of the OTA type of schedule, and where how the NFL does it, where instead of doing spring ball, we kind of just start that up in the summer, and then it leads into fall camp.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't get too involved in it, but I think that'd be a cool idea if they influence.
Just
something like that.
after hearing what you went through, I'm like, man, that's another thing that'd be a heck of a lot easier. You wouldn't have to be sweating out trying to find a class and get in and all that. That's because that doesn't sound like it's all that fun. Last thing before I let you go, and I appreciate you doing this. Now, to think about the last few years, now, like I mentioned, a blank slate. Just describe anxious, nervous, excited. What do you think for this opportunity now that's presents itself in front of you?
Yeah, I'm just super excited. I'm incredibly grateful for the time I spent at St. Thomas with all of the coaches I met and relationships I built with them, and then also all my teammates. But as I move forward, I'm just really excited to have a fresh start and to fully embrace MSUM and be back home in the FM area, something that's I'm really excited for, to be closer to family, closer to friends. But yeah, I think just already being here for the first week, I just really want to keep building relationships with a lot of my teammates here and with the coaches as well. But I couldn't be more excited to represent, or hopefully represent, the FM area.
It's great to see you again, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Congratulations. Look forward to catching up in person here in the not-too-distant future, okay?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Also, I just want to give a shout-out to Bo Meyer. He's fighting really hard. He's progressing 1% better every day. So I just want to tell you, Bo, I love you, man. Keep working, and the whole FM area has got your back. So love you.
Hear on that. Good to see you, bud. Thanks for the time.
Yep. Thanks, Dom.
Michael Rostberg joining us, former Shanley quarterback, talking about his former Shanley teammate there. Obviously, we've been following the Meyer family, and his dad, Chris, who's been on our show a handful of times, is posting videos every day about Bo's recovery. Awesome stuff there. Appreciate that. All right, we'll break, wrap up our first hour. Kim Wagers, Concordia women's basketball coming up in hour 2. NFL picks as well. And I got to say something about the Kyle Tucker signing, don't we? We'll do that when Hot Mike returns after this. All right. Not looking great outside. Not looking great if you are a baseball fan of a team not named the Los Angeles Dodgers. I was going to do this earlier in the show, and then the stealing news broke, and we had to get into that, and we'll chat more coming up in our second hour. But I've got a little window here, and I'm going to save maybe more of this for when my dad comes on later in the show. Last night, news broke that I would say the highest profile, best player available in the free agent market in baseball signed, Kyle Tucker. And I'm interested, frankly. I love the game. I'm in it. Baseball's my second favorite sport. Some days it's my favorite, depending on how the Mets are doing. I know who he is. I'm interested out of the average sports fan. Out of 10, who knows Kyle Tucker played for last year, or what position he plays, any of that. He played for the Cubs last year. And now he's going to play for the Dodgers. And why I bring this up, because he signed a 4-year, $240 million contract with the Dodgers. He's a $60 million a year player. This is a guy that it was okay. Actually, the second half of last year, we watched a lot of Cubs baseball in my house because we got 2 Cubs fans. He was not that great in the second half of last year. He was an all-star, 22 home runs, 73 RBIs, hit .266. He's a $60 million a year player for a team that has Ohtani and everybody else that they have. I mean, I can't even fathom looking at their starting lineup for next season. I'm going to do it just to drive myself crazy here. But this is what, on the outside, I think people are saying why the game needs a work stoppage, which may come from the owners after this upcoming season. The CBA expires after the 2026 year. That I think the nuclear winter option is talked about, that there may not be baseball in 2027 because the Dodgers now have, arguably you could say four of the best players in the game all on the same team. This is their lineup projected for next year. Will Smith, 2-time All-Star, is their catcher. Freddie Freeman is a Hall of Famer who plays first base. Tommy Edman was the MVP of the NLCS 2 years ago when they beat the Mets. He's their second baseman. Max Muncy has been an All-Star a couple of times. He plays third. Mookie Betts is a multiple MVP who now plays shortstop for him. He's a Hall of Famer. Teoscar Hernandez, All-Star at left field. Andy Pajes was a rookie last year, who came up and was great. Now Tucker's going to play right field, and I haven't mentioned the other guy, who's probably the greatest living ball player we had over the last, 40 years, in Ohtani. And by the way, they just got the best closer in the game earlier this offseason when they signed Edwin Diaz from the Mets. Now, why this hits home more for me? Because the Mets had backed up the brink truck to get him. The Mets made a fantastic offer, and apparently it was not good enough to get him. The Mets' final offer to Tucker was $220 million over 4 years. Now, apparently, the Dodgers are going to defer money here, much like they did on the Ohtani contract, that he's going to get paid $70 million in 30 years or whatever. The Mets didn't do that. Here's the story quickly from ESPN.com. Tucker's deal comes with $30 million deferred, a source tells ESPN, confirming multiple reports. That gives it a present-day average annual value of $57.1 million, a record, beating Juan Soto's $51 million average annual value with the Mets, because the Dodgers are already on track to exceed MLB's highest luxury tax threshold in 2026, prompting a 110% average. Tucker will cost them $120 million annually. As a way to offset those deferrals, the Dodgers also rewarded Tucker with a $64 million signing bonus. It's just monopoly money. $54 million of which will be paid up front. So signing your name, you get $54 million. I love this sport. The contracts are guaranteed. It's just unbelievable. That, sources have said, is not a problem. The new Dodgers owner, Mark Walter, has generated outsized revenue, of course, from Ohtani's presence over the last 2 years and benefits from a lucrative ironclad local media contract at a time when many teams are seeing those revenues dry up. Yeah, the Dodgers are the most popular team in California, certainly in Los Angeles. I think they are maybe more popular than the Lakers now. Their TV deal is fantastic. And you have the most popular player and the best player. People watch. Just unfair. I'll save more of that for later on. I love the sport, but what are we doing? Let's break. We come back. We'll start hour two. Concordia women's basketball coach Kim Wagers will join us. Cobbers are heating up in the MIAC, tied to the top spot. She'll join us when we start hour two after this.
This is Hot Mike. Hot Mike. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour two, ready to rock and roll here on this Friday morning. NFL picks coming up in about a half hour to wrap up our week. Much more on the Bison football news as well later on in the show. We're getting ready for a huge basketball weekend. We previewed earlier the St. Thomas Bison game coming up here tomorrow at 1. We'll have the game on Extra. You got the Bison women heading down to Brookings to take on South Dakota State. Busy NSIC weekend. It's a busy MIAC weekend as well. We featured on Thursday show yesterday how the Cobbers pulled off a win over Gustavus, over Venerable Memorial Auditorium. Cobbers are rolling right now, tied atop the MIAC on the women's side. It's great to have Kim Wagers back with us, Concordia women's basketball head coach, 12-2 on the year, 6-1 in the MIAC. We were just visiting off air. This is exactly what you thought, right, about how this season was going to play?
Exactly how we laid it out.
Tell me about this. Yeah, tell me about the success so far and what has surprised you the most about how this team has played.
Yeah, I think. We knew we had pieces coming into the year. We just had lost so much scoring from last year, and four seniors that had played and started a ton for us. So it was the question marks going into the year were just like, how are those pieces going to fit, and kind of who's going to fill which role, and how are they all going to kind of figure it out together. And so it's been just a little bit of a surprise, like how early they meshed and are playing super well. And we got off to a really good start, and it's just been rolling. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but the group's consistent effort all year has been unbelievable. And so that's been really fun. Just from a coaching staff standpoint, we walk in the gym and every day it's been such a high level of competitiveness and just effort, and that's been really fun to coach.
All right, let's go back to Wednesday. You're down 9 with about 6 minutes to go in the game. What was that? The best coaching speech you ever gave? What happened over the final 6 minutes?
I think it was just our leadership in that senior class was just kind of like, we have it figured out, and we were making runs, but we just hadn't found a way to get over the top. And so I mean, I had a few fiery timeouts, but I'm pretty calm. And so it was basically like, these are the things that are working, keep doing the things that are working, and then obviously rely on our defense. And we knew we needed to get a few stops in a row to really make a run. And we were able to cause some turnovers, and obviously our post players with Kaya and Maya played really well down the stretch. And then Molly Muslin hit a huge 3 that kind of just like gave us a little bit like that over the hump feeling, where it's like, okay, we can actually get this right.
When Molly hit that 3 to tie it, what was the bench like at that? It was a minute to go, minute and a half left in the game?
Yeah, well, she's such a consistent shooter. I think like as soon as I saw she was open on that, she set a back screen and kind of shaped up quick, and I was like, oh, that's gonna go. And our bench is outstanding. We have such good energy on the bench always. So I try not to pay too close attention to them until I'm watching the film a day later. But I'm just like, make sure you stay off the court and hold each other back a little bit. But they definitely celebrated.
Kaya Gack gets the winning shot. What was that play like? And to have her deliver at a spot like that, how big can that be just for the last half of what you have to come this season?
Yeah, I hope it's a huge confidence booster for her, but for our entire crew, and just gives us a lot of confidence of right when we play well, we're really hard to beat. And so I think that's hopefully just okay, like we didn't play well in the first half, but we figured it out and we found a way to get it done at home, and to have people step up and play, like hit huge shots. That's just like hopefully a really big confidence booster for our entire crew. I wanted them to play, right? Knew they were going to be tied. And so I was like, we're getting in, we're playing, we're rebounding and playing. And so like for a while there, we had 2 of them in the post, and we weren't really running anything. And I was like, oh, I should have took a timeout. And then I saw Maya had a nice pin, and we knew they were doubling. And so I was like, oh, well, someone's going to get a shot here. And it was awesome that she hit Kaya. We work on that a ton, from just like the low to high and high to low with our post players. So yeah, and that's a shot Kaya makes consistently, but it was really good to see her shoot it with confidence and knock it down.
When we're seeing the Molly 3 here to tie the game at 66 right now from Wednesday, I'm interested to knowing full well how tough the Mayak is to defend home court, to make sure you win your games at home. This is going to be Captain Obvious question, but how big is that to make sure we got to win all of our home games and then see what happens on the road?
Yeah, it just is super important from a competitive advantage. Like when we're playing in the league, right? We know that those road games are going to be super intense, super hard to win. And so taking care of business at home is always one of our kind of vision or goals for the year. We've had really good success at home too. I mean, I think we do have a tiny advantage of we're on the bus all the time headed to the cities, right? And the Twin City teams and the Mayak teams don't always have the same travel schedule that we do. And so to get them on our home floor is always something that's super important to me, to be like, all right, we got to play well at home, because they got to get off the bus and try to play us too, right? So yeah, that's a huge piece of what we build for our vision of the year, but also obviously very important as we go down the rest of the Mayak play here.
We're showing some Maya Metcalf. I want to get to that, Brody, in just a second. I want to ask you, you played Bethel earlier this year. That was a how did that come about? You're playing them in a non-conference game.
So when we went from playing a double round robin in the MIAC play, right, we only play 18 games, so we don't play everyone twice. And so me and Herbie just had a conversation, the Bethel coach, about we didn't get scheduled twice this year, and so from a non-conference schedule and a strength of schedule, like MPI wise, we knew that would be a really good game. And then we knew like we would be going there in conference play, and so he offered to come up here, which is even better, right? I can't turn down home games ever, but especially if it's going to be a really good opponent. So it just worked out where we kind of talked about like, all right, in the future, if we don't get scheduled twice, like we want to try to schedule those conference opponents as non-cons just to help our MPI, and it's a game that helps us, but also like we don't have to travel extremely far, right? We're not getting on the bus and going to Wartburg or somewhere in Iowa or Wisconsin to get a non-con game that will help us. So yeah, that was really awesome that they came up, and it was like a blizzard. They ended up having to stay. The roads got shut down. It was kind of a crazy night, but it was also good to see them early because that'll be a huge game coming up in a few weeks here too.
Say such as travel in the MIAC, because I think about that as you guys get ready for another game tomorrow. You also went down to Texas. How did that come about right after Christmas?
So we try really hard to travel every year, and it's usually that after Christmas tournament where we're not missing school. And Rachel, our AD, has been just tremendous and super supportive of me trying to fundraise my butt off and find ways to go play like the best teams in the country, right? That's important to us too from an at-large standpoint. We've had a ton of success after Christmas, but a lot of that starts with that tournament where we get to travel together, stay in hotels, just have like a really good team bonding after Christmas. Always seems to put our team in a really good spot headed back into conference play in January. So I knew we wanted to get south, obviously, like our parents and kids are all about finding games in the warm, and me too, obviously, but Texas, the Hardin Simmons coach, they've been tremendous for years, and so I just reached out because they had a tournament that they host every year after Christmas, and it worked out. And we had flight cancellations, and it was unbelievable. Like our kids handled everything so well. I mean, we literally had to fly from MSP to Dallas, get in a car, drive 3 hours, and then go play that day, like hours later.
Jeez. Holy cow.
And they handled it like champs, of course, and found ways to win 2 games against 2 really good teams. And and then we got to spend a day like at a really cool Airbnb that I found. And so we had like a pickleball tournament and had foosball and darts and pool. And we found out me and Coach Wingenbach are really bad at pool and really bad at foosball.
Well, his athletic greatness stopped a long time ago, so there's no surprise in that.
I feel like we held our own in pickleball, but the rest of it we struggled.
So that such is life again. Traveling in Division III basketball, that's unbelievable. Getting there and playing a game later that day is wild. I have to ask you about a couple players. We televised your game against North Dakota State back in November. It was great to see Maya Metcalf back playing. She was really good in that game, and she's been great all season long. Former West Fargo Cheyenne standout. Give us the backstory on how you got Maya to come back and play basketball after she had done playing at MSUM.
Yeah, so she actually like randomly lived with a few of our players off campus. They, like MSUM's just right down the street, literally. And so they were, kids that were local that they knew before in high school. So they all lived together. And I think she was just missing basketball, right? And obviously when Wing got hired, that helped just because she then knew a coaching staff member that obviously she trusts and is a darn good coach too. So I think that helped obviously sweeten the deal a little bit with like, okay, you're going to come in and you're going to have someone from super familiar to play for too. And so we just, she reached out and we were obviously excited to bring her to campus and just see if it was a good fit. And you could tell when we met that she really missed playing and was excited. Like she was already been in the gym a ton and she's like, I shoot every day. And so, I'm super excited for her to kind of refined that like joy in basketball and joy in being in the gym. And she's been a great addition, obviously.
Was it like pick it up right away? Was there any lag time, or was it, hey, she hit the ground running when you got practice going?
Yeah, I mean, so D3 rules again, right? Like we can't be in the gym. Like she committed in June,
Yeah.
right? And we weren't able to work with her until late September, October, in the
Wow.
gym. But you know, she was around for camp and she played pickup in fall and workouts and things in the fall. So yeah, she didn't miss a beat. She definitely seemed like she picked it up right where she left off. But I'm assuming knowing Maya, she's kind of a gym rat. She's in here all the time, and so I would imagine she had lots of gym time this summer and into fall, right where she was ready to go.
I got to ask one of your seniors as well, Molly Muslin from Lemoore, how big of a player she is. I believe she does solid core coaching as well, like
Yes,
almost full
yeah.
time. How does that translate? How much does that help for basketball as well?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think like strength and mobility and right, like it's kind of her getting probably some extra lifts in, although like when she's leading the class, hopefully she's not doing crazy too much. But no, Molly's been a great leader, a great energy kid for us for 4 years. And so yeah, it's funny because she'll text me sometimes and be like, oh well, I got 3 solid core classes today and I'll be on the run to practice. And I'm just like, okay, well, I took one of her classes one time.
Yeah.
And almost died. So
One and done, you're telling me? That's it?
yeah, I was like, well, I guess it's fair that I put you through tons of workouts during your 4 years, but I guess I'll do yours once. So
Oh,
yeah,
man.
she's a fun, energetic teacher, but also she worked us very hard in that class. So yeah, I mean, that's another D3 thing too. We have lots of kids that are working jobs, doing research, doing a million different things, and that's part of kind of the D3 world is you get to do a little bit of everything. And for us, we're focused on, all right, let's do things that we're going to be really good at and be good at all of it, not just all about one thing, being in the gym or being in the classroom or being at work. So
I got to ask, this is your 7th year, correct? At Concordia?
ooh,
I think.
Sure. Yeah, sounds right.
That you've been here now long enough to have the kind of connections that you have, not only just around the MIAC, but certainly locally. And now that success, you made the tournament a couple years ago, NCAA tournament. How much has that helped to get some players to come play for you now?
Yeah, I think that I hope it helps, and I hope it continues to help. Right, I think that those are getting some of the really good local kids to stay home and play in showing them that the MIAC is a really competitive league in the D3 world. There's lots of great things about it, right? I think that just getting them to get to a game where you can see the Gustavises and the Bethels and the competition that we're facing, or even the NDSU game, right, was huge for us to go over there and compete at a pretty high level against, I mean, Joy's team is unbelievable. And so I think all of that helps from a recruiting standpoint, but just to even build momentum on campus from an excitement standpoint. So yeah, we hope it continues to help. We got a new gym floor coming in here this summer, and so that I hope helps as well. But one of our main goals all the time when we talk about recruiting is trying to keep some of those local kids here in town and playing for us, and that's important to me from it just helps our attendance. It helps from a connection standpoint. All of it is just trickles down. And so, yeah, that's super important to us too.
And the players are pretty darn good around here, as we're finding out year after year on the girls' side. It just keeps getting better. All right, I'm going to get you in trouble before I let you go. What is your least favorite MIAC travel is where?
Oh, travel? St. Mary's is easy.
Just because how far it is?
Had some, we got lucky this year. We went, we played on Saturday, so we got to, leave after school on Friday, but you're still 6 hours on a bus on Friday night to play, right? And we've done it on a Monday. We've done it on a Wednesday. I mean, that trip is something else. So, yeah, they have a new gym too, so they've done some work down there. So it's not a bad place to play, but it's my least favorite.
It's a long way to go. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
It's great to see you. Thanks so much for doing this. Congrats on the great start. Good luck tomorrow, and hopefully we'll catch up soon, okay?
Thank you.
Good to see you. Kim Wagers, head coach, Concordia women's basketball, joining us. Cobbers are on top of the MIAC right now, 6-1, 12-2 overall. They got Augsburg coming up tomorrow over at Memorial Auditorium. All right, we'll break. Catch up. We got a few emails coming in on the Staling situation. We'll get into that. And again, NFL picks coming up here in about 15 minutes or so. Back on Hot Mic on a snowy Friday right after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. All right, thanks to Kim Wagers for giving us a few minutes. That was good stuff. Fun to watch Concordia's team with some really good local talent. The story on Metcalf coming back is fantastic, and that was I'm glad she was able to share that here for a few minutes. We got a bunch of comments coming in, emails as well, on the breaking Bison football news. Nathaniel Staling is entered the transfer portal on the final day to go in. And I'll add a couple things on this. I want to read a couple of comments. Dom is a huge loss. Not any time for coach to fight a veteran before the portal closes. I know we have bright young talent, but not many with quality playing time. NDSU has lost 6 FBS guys now. NDSU administration has to get into the Pac-12 or Mountain West ASAP to at least stop some of this bleeding and not to fill with NAIA or Division II guys. That's one person's opinion there. This is a good email as well. Dom, as an alumnus of NDSU, I have the view that when players have graduated and enter the portal, they've fulfilled the commitment to attend NDSU to earn a degree and play for the Bison. If they still have eligibility and want to continue to play college athletics, it makes sense for them to consider what and where to extend their education, as this is a new commitment and step to their long-term future career, as many are not going to play professional athletics. If they're able to get an advanced degree that supports their plans along with getting paid more for their services, that is great for them. I think we as fans need to remember the decisions these athletes make are not always apples to apples. To use some of the transfer portal while considering the education, and although they may get a large payout, if they don't make it as a professional athlete, reality will hit them hard if they didn't take steps to have a future profession, because the current system of free agents means the unregulated agents and collectives move on to the new flavor and leave those in the past. For those grad transfers, I say welcome to the NDSU family of shareholders, and remember, once a Bison, always a Bison applies to your certificate as well. I appreciate that email, and I have had numerous interactions with Nathaniel Staling over the last 4 years. He broke his commitment on our show in the summer of 2022, summer of 21. Might have been the summer of 21. It had to have been. God, so I've talked to him over 50 times. Easy. Smart guy. No doubt about it. Dean's List, the whole 9 yards. So this emailer is right on it. He graduated. He spent 4 years here. That's a heck of a lot longer than a lot of guys. I mean, in this day and age, and if you want me to say I'm carrying the water for the Bison, fine. I'm just going to tell you what it's like right now. If a guy gets his degree and was here for 4 years, what other complaining can you do? Yeah, would you have liked him here for the next season? Absolutely. He was a great player and would have solidified a really good defense to be even better maybe in 2026. I think the Bison D had a chance to be just as dominant as they were this past season because, yeah, they were dominant. I don't care what anybody says about that final game. The Bison defense had 5 interceptions. Staling got a pick 6 in that game. They were great, and he was a huge reason why. But to my point, if you're here for that long and get your degree, even more power to you than if you think somebody is going to give you that kind of money to go play somewhere else. And you already got your degree in your back pocket, he is going to be a success in life. I firmly believe that. Just from the interactions I've had with that guy, no doubt about it. And if he's got a chance to go and do something, you tip your fans, you can be mad all you want. It's why you're fans. You know, you can be about what color the sky is these days. And losing a guy at this date, I'm sure for the coaching staff, that's a difficult pill to swallow. I would just, the counterpoint to be with that, say, the guy got his degree and he spent 4. It's different if you're here for 1 and left. I understand for guys, or for fans that are upset, like Elle Evans was a fabulous player for the Bison women's basketball team who'd be a senior on this team right now. Left after 2 years. That's tough. I get it. Bo Johnson. Bo Johnson has been here for 3, started for 1. That's a tough deal. You know, I think there was some mindset, can we get him for 1 more year and then go test the waters? Because I honestly believe that in the mid-major level now, not just in basketball and football, coaches are going in with the mindset of really elite players. Can we keep them for 3? And then if they move on, then so be it. And that might be the most asinine thing you've ever heard, or the way of sucks for mid-major sports now. But until there's some sort, and there's not going to be any guardrails or rules put up, this is what mid-majors live at. If you get a guy to stay, like Cole Payton stayed, Cam Miller stayed, Gray Zabel stayed, Bryce Lance stayed, you celebrate that till the cows come home. And I'll say that Staling was here for 4 years. He got his degree. You tip your cap to the kid and say good luck. He's not a kid. To the adult, to the man, and say good luck to you, and thanks for what you did. It was a shame he didn't get to play more than 1 year. I mean, he's behind 2 6-year guys. That's part of the COVID part of this as well. The COVID backup prevented some of these guys from playing earlier than they would have. That's no shot at Nick Kubitz and Luke Wirtz, who wanted to play a 6-year and got it. But had they not been here, Staling would have started in 2024. There's not a doubt in my mind on that. Grant Olson sat there and told us as much a couple years ago. That's just fact. So just to add, however you want to color it, if I've got green and gold glasses on, I don't care. That's the perspective on this. He was here for 4 years, and the emailer's dead on about it. I appreciate that. All right, time for a break. We come back, we'll do some picks. It's NFL Divisional Round Weekend. We'll do that with my dad when Hot Mike returns on a Friday morning right after this.
If that was me and you, if you'd have went with a Boston, you'd have been living in the garage. I had a Yankee hat on, of course, which I usually almost always do, but she says to me, if I were you, I'd take that hat off. And I looked at what look at to begin with. I ain't taking my hat off. I know where I am. Yeah, right.
You believe anything that guy says? Because I don't.
He said he was going to marry J-Lo, too, remember? I finally told your mom. I said, there's no sense. Let's just put TVs in the room because I'm only going to wake them up anyway. So
that's how I got a television?
Alrighty, it's that time as we wrap up the week in style on a Friday morning. It's time to do some NFL picks with my pops from lovely Central New York. What's going on today, Dad? How we doing?
That's pretty good. Hanging in there. Trying to stay warm.
Yeah, what do you got weather-wise? We're getting wallop right now here.
Yeah, we got it yesterday. It's sunny right now, but cold.
Okay, all right.
We got about 5 inches yesterday. 4 or 5 inches.
This is on top of, you guys got, as I mentioned last week, you were on national television a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but then by the middle of the week, it was gone.
That's amazing.
Now it's nothing but frozen water underneath the rest of this snow. But
oh, there you go. That's
crazy.
What happens.
I could ice skate in the backyard.
Have you ever put on a pair of skates in your life?
Yeah.
Really?
I used to love to roller skate.
Ice skate, I meant.
No, I did ice skate a couple times.
That is brand new information. I did not know that. Really?
Oh, yeah. My dad was a roller skate champion from where he grew up. He was.
You're breaking my brain this morning. Of what? Of what? Champion of how? What?
I don't know. They had a roller skate contest, and he won the whole thing, I guess.
Is there photos of this? I have to see that.
No, I've never seen photos of it. It was just from him telling us.
That's amazing.
Because we used to go up in Fulton. We took you with us, but it wasn't a very good experience for you. But for me either. I ended up with a lot of bruises. But
what happened? First off, how old was I? I don't even remember this.
Oh God, you were young. You were probably only 5, 6, 7, maybe.
I have no recollection of that.
It was up in Fulton.
Okay, so people that don't know, that's about 10 minutes from my hometown, just so people know. Yeah, I have no recollection of that whatsoever. So I was a mess, is what you're saying?
Yeah, you were a little rusty. Of course, we were trying to teach you, and we were rusty.
And I don't know how to skate, so there it is.
Yeah,
apparently it didn't take, because I never learned. So there it is.
I was all right till it come to stopping. I had no idea how to stop. It was crazy. It was fun, but it was crazy.
I have to hit you with the breaking baseball news. Did you see Kyle Tucker signed last night with the Dodgers? And I said this earlier. I know the sport. I know who he is. I'm curious, like even the average sports fan, if they know who this guy is that just got $60 million a year.
Yeah, I've heard of him, but I didn't think he was that good of a player. But
well,
apparently they do. What positions he play?
Right field. He's an outfielder.
Yeah. Well, and it said Mets and everybody else was after him.
Correct. Yep. Apparently, though, they weren't the Mets weren't willing to go the extra $40 million that the Dodgers were. So there you go.
Well, the Dodgers are just throwing it away and paying tax. That's all.
That's right, and they can do that. They can afford to do it. But that's the rub with the whole sport now, and this is why it's heading for a shutdown. I think next season is that how many teams now don't even have a chance when opening day starts in a couple of months. You know.
Well, you can't look at it that way. It's a long season.
But it's fact though.
There's no doubt Toronto should have won that series.
Correct.
No doubt at all.
Yep.
I mean, they just
absolutely. They had two chances to win in Game 6, and they had a
Yeah,
couple chances to win in Game 7. You're right. I
mean,
get it.
And that would just told the Dodgers, well, how stupid was that? You know.
But I would like teams like the Twins or like the Pirates, the they have no chance of competing with the Mets and the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Cubs and the Dodgers. You know what I mean? They don't.
What's your boy Kramer say? It's a write-off. It's a write-off.
It is a
I
write-off.
don't know,
Yes.
but they write it off.
Oh man. All right. So Steelers game goes down the way it does. Were you surprised at all that Tomlin said he was done?
Not really. I figured he was getting close to. I mean, that's a long time. So I'm glad the Giants got the best Harbaugh anyway, but instead of the other one, that was good for the Giants, I thought.
John Harbaugh is going to be the new head coach, it looks like, of the Giants. Yes.
Him I can tolerate, but the other one is just, he's beyond tolerating. So I'm glad he's gone.
I'm really interested in what Pittsburgh does now because Rodgers is not going to come back. So now they got to find a coach and a quarterback.
They've been looking for a quarterback for how many years?
Well, since Roethlisberger was done, since Big Ben was done.
They have not invested in a quarterback, and if you don't have one, they had a number of chances to keep that game really close.
Yes, they could not. No, Houston's defense was fantastic in that game,
but that's the way they've been all year.
Yeah.
They've been right down there and can't put it in.
Yep.
It's not just this year; it's been the last 3 or 4 years, and it's just so frustrating, man. Get a red zone package because you don't have one.
So now 3 teams in the AFC North are going to have new coaches. Cleveland, because they fired Stefanski. The Ravens got rid of Harbaugh. Now the Steelers are done with Tomlin. This is crazy. That's going to look completely different next year.
He was done with the Steelers.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I think they'd have kept
correct.
him.
You're exactly right. Yep. You're right.
I mean, he'll be on TV.
He's going to be awesome on TV, by the way. He will be tremendous.
So we'll see.
He will be great on TV. That will be.
I mean, they keep bashing Romo. Terrible. I mean, he makes these quirky sounds, and he's.
Well, he was not. He was not good. If you watch the game, he was not. And then he said he was sick, which but he's still.
Yeah,
he wasn't good.
He's been terrible.
You know who was good? Your guy Brady. I thought Brady was really good during the Eagles 49ers game.
His little exhibition with the football really brought a lot of attention.
That's what they're paying him for. Like when I'm watching, I want to know why you're the greatest ever. How the weather affects it. We need more of that. If you're going to get paid, whatever.
He can finally talk about a lot of that stuff. I mean, he should have said how he deflated the ball so he can grab him a lot better. But he left that part out.
He did that. Yeah, he didn't go down that road. Surprisingly, he didn't speak on that. So
right, he should have though. The colder weather let a little air out of the ball.
Oh my gosh. By the way, before we do our picks, 31 million people watched the Amazon Prime the Bears-Packers game. So people found it. There's a record breaking for streaming.
People have Amazon anyway.
Yeah.
So I would have never known if your sister didn't say, "Well, you get Amazon." So cool. There you go. I had no clue.
All right. So before we do our picks, we're down to the final 8. Super Bowl matchup would you think is the best? Depending on the 8 teams we have left, who would be the best one to you?
Before I go any farther, I took the roof off when Philly lost. I'm telling you.
Well, it's funny you say that because I had a couple fans of the Bison game come up to me and say, "I love what your dad said about the Eagles." So you have some support of what you said last week.
I took the roof off when they lost. That was the best one. To be honest with you, I would love to see the Bills, but I don't know if they got the moxie to do it.
Allen's losing guys left and right to throw the football to, so.
And I'd like to see the 49ers.
Buffalo, San Francisco.
Just because they're what they've been through the whole year.
Absolutely.
And McCaffrey deserves it more than anybody.
He's pretty darn good.
Yeah, he is. He's just a workhorse, man.
It's
too bad they lost Kittle.
That's really tough. No, that just adds to what they've gone through all season long. No doubt.
But if you're going to beat these Texans, man, you better bring your A game.
No doubt. All right, let's do our picks then. So I'm with you, by the way. Buffalo, San Francisco would be pretty good. By the way, that'd be a home game because the Super Bowl is in the 49ers Stadium for Super Bowl 60 coming up.
That's happened, 2 or 3 times.
A couple times now. The Buccaneers did it when Brady won, and the Rams did it when Stafford and then won it a couple years ago. So there we go. All right, so let's start it tomorrow. First game up, 3:30 on CBS tomorrow. Bills at the Broncos. Denver is the number 1 seed. They had the bye with your guy Peyton as their head coach. Denver is a 1.5 favorite. Basically, Vegas is saying this is a virtual pick'em, as I see it.
Yeah. Well, they got it. It's got to be a pick'em because the only thing they got is Allen. If Allen doesn't play, if he don't play good, it's not going to be a game. I'm just going to take the Bills because
you're going with your heart there.
Yeah. Even though I think they're going to have a really, really hard time.
Yeah. The Saturday night game on Fox. By the way, the Bills game's on CBS. 49ers at the Seahawks. We found out yesterday that Sam Darnold was on the injury report with an oblique injury, that's up here, chest area. He says he's going to play. This is the ultimate test. Darnold was not good for the Vikings in their playoff game last year when it mattered. Seattle's the number 1 seed. The 49ers won in Seattle to start the season.
He's never been good in a pressure game.
Well, he didn't play in any pressure games in New York, I can tell you that. So.
Well, it's just he shows his true colors, but...
Seahawks are a 7-point favorite here.
Niners.
Wow. San Fran plus 7. He's got 2 road teams he's picking on Saturday.
Remember, I was only 3-3 last week, so I did hit the 4 over, so there were 4 teams that went over.
Sunday afternoon on ABC and ESPN. So we got the game on WDAY. Texans, Patriots. New England looked really good defensively as well against the Chargers. They were all over Herbert in that game. And the Texans, we talked about what they did to the Steelers. New England is a 3-point home favorite.
And I can't see the Pats beating them, so I'm going to go with Texans.
Wow, we got 3 road teams here. Holy cow. All right. Houston getting 3. That game, again, is that's with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on WDAY on Sunday. And then the last game is Sunday evening on NBC. Bears hosting the Rams. Bears had the unbelievable... I don't know what Green Bay was doing. The last 4 minutes of that game was head-scratching.
That's what every team has done all year with these guys. So is it the team or is it the Bears? They wait till the last 5 minutes to play.
I'll give this. Chicago, though, has been unbelievable. Late comebacks has been unbelievable. They're a 3.5-point favorite against the Rams, who rallied and beat Carolina with your guy Stafford, who looked really, really good last week.
Yeah, he did. He's going to have another perfect game in really cold weather.
Yes, 20 degrees it looks like on Sunday evening.
I'm going to go with the road team again.
Wow, all road teams here. Holy cow. Rams are favored, by the way. It's -3.5 at Chicago. So
that one's a little tough to believe, really. But I mean, that should be a pick 'em the way the Bears are playing. That's no respect to the Bears, but.
Let's do one bonus pick here because we're not going to talk to you before. Monday night is the college football national championship game with Miami and Indiana. Indiana is a 7.5-point favorite. Miami is playing a home game. Miami's at home for that on Monday night, which, by the way, is way too late.
Did you see the ticket prices for this game?
I did see the ticket prices.
How can they do that? It's crazy.
It's called gouging, my man. Tickets as
Yeah,
low as
it is, for
$3,000 to get into the game.
I can't believe people are actually paying that
Well,
kind of money.
for Indiana, who's never been good in football, this is like the ultimate. They would pay whatever they can to get into the game.
That's just like when I can watch it for free. That's tough. I know. I'd love to be there.
Hey, if you would tell me, and I've told Courtney this, if the Jets were ever to make the Super Bowl, I would pay whatever to take. You and I are going to go, and I would want to see the New York Jets in person play in the Super. I don't care how much it would. I would do it because that's my team.
Me either. As long as you're buying my ticket, I'm fine. Sounds good. I'm going with Indiana. By the way, I think that's not even going to be a game.
Blowout? Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Just like the last one.
All right.
Look at the last one.
Yeah, they've steamrolled everybody. They boat raced Alabama and they
Right.
boat raced Oregon. So it's,
I mean, that coach gives that look, and it's all over right there, man.
he's done it. It's no doubt about it.
Then he played in your league, right?
He
that
was.
coach?
He was the James Madison head coach,
Yeah,
and
I
they
thought
placed
so.
the Bison twice over, and then he got the job at Indiana. So, yep, he's
A lot of
coached in
people weren't
Florida,
happy
so.
with them making the college playoffs.
Well, they were pretty good though too.
Yeah.
James Madison had a really good year. That's why I want NDSU to move up because they'd be in
Yeah.
that. They'd have the opportunity to play those kind of teams. It'd be
I'm sure they would,
unbelievable around
too.
here. It'd be fantastic. So
Yeah.
all right, we got to go. What do you got planned this weekend?
Football. I made no plans at all. So think about it. It's really your last good weekend.
This
for
is
it,
it.
And then it's
Yeah.
just, a couple games.
After that,
and-
we got 3 games left. We got the 2 championship games and the Super Bowl, and then we shut it down again. So.
And it's time to race.
It is, and you're going to Daytona, no doubt.
Yep.
All right, I love you. I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right, man. Love you too. Have a great one.
You have a great weekend. There he goes. My Pops NFL picks. How about this? All 4 road teams, everybody. Buffalo plus 1.5. San Francisco plus 7. Texans plus 3. And he's got the Rams minus 3.5. If that happens, that is going to be some kind of story to talk about on Monday. All right, we'll take our final break. We come back. We'll get you ready for a great sports weekend. We got a ton of TV stuff that we're televising. We'll tell you all about that and wrap up the show right after this. That shot almost makes it seem like the sun is coming out. All right, wrapping things up here on a Friday. Great week. Appreciate you stopping by for at least a little bit or making us part of your week. It's very humbling to do this show, and to get the kind of feedback we get or that I receive is fantastic. I'm going to be gone on Monday. Jackman has a day off from school, so I'll be gone Monday. Sam will be here to start our week to recap everything going on this weekend, including the Bison Women's Showdown with South Dakota State tomorrow at 2. I will say this and get on my soapbox real quick. If you want to grow women's basketball in this part of the world and make it relevant and make people care about it when you've got a team that's this good against a team that's really good in South Dakota State, don't schedule it when the men are playing. It's dumb because invariably people are going to watch the men's game. It's the way it is. It's 2026. It's time to stop pitting men's and women's games against one another at the same time. It just is. It's dumb. Because invariably people are going to watch. And the men's game there's no slight to that. It's the top 2 teams playing on the men's side tomorrow. Somebody can play at night, right? Can we just... I'm going to tell you right now, people that are going to the game tomorrow, you're going to see, I'm going to have my iPad right next to me. I'm going to have the Bison women's game on for the second half. I don't care. I want to know what's going on in Brookings. It's a big game. It's the biggest game of the year on the women's side. Knock it off. If you missed our top story earlier today, broke the news that Nathaniel Staling, Bison's senior captain linebacker, has entered the transfer portal on the final day to go in as a grad transfer. He'll have 1 year of eligibility to play wherever he so chooses. But the Bison lose now an 8th starter off its 2025 Missouri Valley Conference champion team that will not be returning for next season. More on that coming up on WDAY Sports later tonight at 6. All right, before we get out of here, let's do some What to Watch. We got a lot to get to. What to Watch brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Let's start tonight. We got high school hoops, both here on WDAY Extra and WDAY 2. On Extra, boys hoops, Horace Davies, 1 and 2 in the EDC at 7 o'clock. Davies Horace girls on WDAY2 at 7. Also coming up tonight, the Timberwolves are in action as they take on the Rockets. We got some golf. PGA back going, the Sony Open on the Golf Channel, and UND Hockey taking on Denver tonight at 7. Don't forget, tomorrow, Bison men's basketball, as they take on St. Thomas, 1 o'clock on WDAY Extra between the Tommies and the Bison. First place up for grabs in the Summit League for the winner of that. Also tomorrow, the Gophers are in action. They take on Illinois, 11 a.m. on the Big Ten Network. Wolves will play another back-to-back tonight at the Rockets and then against Wemby and the Spurs. And we mentioned NFL weekend. We got the game on WDAY, Texans and Patriots at 2. We got to roll. Thanks to our guest today, to Johnny Tower, to Michael Rostberg, to Kim Wagers, of course, to my dad. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.